can be pulled from hotel occupancy tax. That signage, there's about 10, I wanna say maybe over 10 allowances for hotel tax. And we've made improvements to the civic center, so we try to disperse the dollars to where you don't, hate to use this, but you don't get the money, just the dollars just to one group, or you still wanna keep the disbursement of funds. We still have the Hispanic Heritage Festival, which is our biggest one event that we do. We also support the museum, the Clay Busters, and I know there's one more event I'm forgetting about. Hispanic Heritage, I want to say there's another one. Yes, so those are the events that you'll be able to see that further down the budget as far as the allowances for those different events and groups that we support, but that's what we try to get the budget to where we still have some dollars to support all the groups that we.
So that 40%, how is it, has it already been dispersed to them, or how is that dispersed to them?
No, the disbursement happens after, meaning we get the actuals. So in essence, we cut the check in May, we use the months of February, March, and April to disperse a check to them. So we collect checks, we collect hotel taxes on those months. So April of 23, April of 24, excuse me, March, April,
February, March, and
February,
April?
March, and April, to give them their May check. So we use those collection totals, and 40% of that goes to them. So that's how.
So technically, they didn't have anything till now, and we're one of something that they already had money.
Exactly.
They just barely got it now.
Well, again, part of the, again, I don't know, again, this has been, to the council's point, this has been some issues, hurdles that they've had. We signed the agreements back in September, October, I have to go back and verify. But this has been, you've been in this agreement for almost a year. So just to make sure you understand that window now of 3 years is now the 2 years. So there has been, there's been issues with, we cut the checks and the banks and all this other stuff, et cetera, but we've cut more than one check. We voided one, we put those dollars back in the fund. But yes, that's what.
So just doing the math, year to date, our total contribution for the whole chamber from the beginning is 42,000, they've used 12. They're sitting on roughly 30 according to Juanita.
Yes.
So our current subsidies for the chambers since we started is they've used 12,000 of that to get established, to get things going. So that's where we are.
We verify, the other thing we verify is that they don't commingle funds.
No.
So once they start making money off of chamber dues or whatever, those dollars have to be separate from what we support them with. That's part of our request for detailed information.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is sitting on y'all's board? How many, what are the members that sit with y'all, and how do you get on there? Because I've had phone calls that people wanna get on there and they can't, to help out with the chamber.
Oh, well, we have 6, 7 members, including myself, right?
Who are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Dr. Sanchez, Sylvia Sanchez, Anthony Vasquez, Oscar Vasquez, Lyric Norman, Lyric Norman, I think her last name is Norman.
Claire?
I believe it is.
Lyric.
Norman.
There, okay,
Right. Andrea Martinez Longoria,
okay.
that's.
And then you.
And then myself, yes.
And how can they get on there? I'm asking because we
Well,
have
we
prominent
have
members.
it,
in the community.
we're the ones still standing from the original group
Uh-huh.
that started here. So we're the board of directors right now. Once we open it, yes, we're gonna
Okay.
put it out there. You know, we're open for memberships and whatnot. But yeah, we're still the ones that started at the very beginning when we first met here. And we're just the ones still standing. And it was everybody that had participated and was still participating, but a little at a time. They've had to quit for various
Yes.
reasons. So like I told them, we're the last standing.
I think part of the concern from the council since I first started activating for this Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Andon, was that yes, we were wanting a strong chamber to move towards the economic development.
Yes.
And basically, because they look at that within the cities when it comes to grant money and funding like that.
Yes.
And so I think the city is moving in a direction that, we're gonna be growing here. So, yes, it's been a year, so I think, my point that I wanna get to you guys, and I wish Dr. Sanchez would have been here this evening, is to, is there any support needing from us in the county? So I believe the county also contributes to you guys, so.
No,
Um,
sir.
No,
No,
they
sir.
don't do a contribution?
No,
I
sir.
thought I heard that at the
No.
county level.
No.
Okay, so, but that's the whole idea was to get this, so, there's no issues within board of directors or nothing on there that we're looking at that might be causing the issue of us, of the timber not moving forward?
No, not at all, not at all. They have been more on the regulation side with the state of Texas, with the the Secretary of States and the state comptroller. Since we started brand new, everything had to be done, and we had to seek legal, and we got on with a pro bono to file for the 501c6. And everything has been a process, and nothing has been immediate since we've reestablished, because we wanted to establish it, we wanted to make the foundation, establish it, or it's gonna keep going, regardless of who's sitting there, who's sitting on there, who's working there, it's gonna keep going. So we're a completely different entity than the entity that was here before, and we've tried hard to keep it that way, and it's just taken a little longer.
And that's exactly what we wanna hear, that's what we want to be, to envision as we move forward, and hopefully this will go sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Because Mr. Reyes has a point there, you know, all these, other organizations that are being funded, that we can utilize that in a different way, you know, so that y'all can handle, those
Yes.
entities in a different way, so. Do we have a time frame as far as when we would be able to see that transition, that transparency into the community, into these businesses from the chamber?
We were hoping this week, but that's not gonna happen, so I'm hoping not, like I said, not this coming week, but the following week. And feel free to contact either one of us if y'all ever wanna come into the building and see what we've been doing with the building too. I think you'll like what you see, and it's just tying up the loose ends right now, really is what it is. But that we're right there with you, I'm right there with you, if anybody else, it's me, I am eager, I wish we would have already been there, but if it's not one thing, it's another. But the way I see it, if we're taking care of all this beforehand, I hope when we open those doors, it's gonna be smooth sailing.
When you say when it's one thing, it's another, what?
Well, first it was getting the paperwork, the regulations, and now it's been like the building when we were trying to get it ready, and like I said, you know, we've had AC issues, we've had electrical issues, just because the building hasn't been used in a while, I believe.
Right.
So there were things there were unknowns, and now that
Right.
we're in there, trying to get things working and find out, okay, that's not working, that's not gonna work there.
And
So-
then you're gonna be at the mercy of the contractors or whoever
Yes.
to go and fix it, and we all know how that goes, so.
Yes, and it's hard to get somebody to come down to Pearsall from San Antonio to come fix things if it requires somebody that has to travel from San Antonio. So we're at their mercy, at their schedule.
Well, I hope we're doing Pearsall first, though.
Yeah, oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Just throwing that out there.
So when, Mr. Trevino said about, do you need help from us, I know that I spoke to one of the board members also as well, cause I thought you already had the money and stuff. In Cinco de Mayo, I had a suggestion, this was just a suggestion, y'all need to start, and it's not telling you how to run, something small and then go big.
Oh,
We
yes.
can't, like, you know what I mean, like Cinco de Mayo, y'all could've got a DJ, set up, giving out hot dogs, chips, whatever, and have your visitors coming out. That's just to get the community involved. Something small, you bring them in and then you just grow. You can't come like, I want this, and, you know, it's not gonna happen like that.
And in between, don't get me wrong, in between all of these things that we're getting, preparing to open up, we're having our meetings, and we have our list of events and functions and what we can do with the community and for the community. We have all of this, and we have, the directory is started, I just need to get sponsorships. We have a lot that's been done, it's just a finalized copy of it.
We're at this stage now, council, where we should start seeing some things happening. And two, we need to remember that when we started this, the idea wasn't that we weren't gonna subsidize them forever. That the hope was that they would take a lot of these festivals and things on themselves and generate revenue so that we can use our money elsewhere. All in the name of economic development. And
Yes,
so
sir.
you can see by the willingness to support this with the city fund, Hotel Motep specifically, it's an important aspect for us. You know, the bottom line is the economic development and promote the city as much as possible. Council, do you have any other questions for our chamber director?
On the budget, just want to point out that the budget they provided, there are two, from what I gathered, this is just what I'm reading, there are two proposed, looks like there are two proposed budgets. One of them seems like it includes just the basic operating budget, which is $151,700. And if you look at the second page, council, I think the request, from what I'm gathering, is $267,500. I think I'm kind of understanding. I believe Dr. Sanchez, and I don't want to speak for him, because I know he probably has something that, but he has on there, promotions of community of $100,000. So so the total amount on the second page is $267,500. So part of what, the discussion that we need to make sure of as far as budget goes, it seems like there may be two separate amounts there of what, maybe he's proposing two different things, I don't know. But in saying that, part of what we need to look at, council, is the events that we have for this year, the use of the dollars. This year will be heavy, as far as requests, because remember, we had the Hispanic Heritage, that is gonna be $150,000 this year, this coming budget year, which we've normally been budgeting $75,000. So it's double of what the, it's a contractual, or last year with Motor Mouth. So yes, that is part of what we need to consider and then any other events that are hotel occupancy related, heads to beds, night stays, would be something that we'd have to consider as part of these budgets.
And
We're currently at a $140,000 budget, right?
Yeah, it's on page 151, well, 151 is what's proposed, and I wanna say it's like 130 is what we looked at last year.
Last year, we
We
had
put it in there.
I think we had a projected revenues of $330,000 last year. Yes.
Based on that, and, when we got the original request from the chamber for the 4th of July, they had requested like 75,000 or whatever it is, but this promotion, again, we need to hear from Dr. Sanchez, and we've got more time to think about that, but again, with that, whether we choose to do that or not, there is or there should be a return on this investment, that, as with the Hispanic Heritage Festival, there's a return that we get, people come into town, acknowledge so on and so forth, so when that comes and when we're told what that is, then we'll have to weigh that and see and consider. But where we are today is much more closer to 150,000 than 267,000. So we'll just have to hear from them and decide if that's the direction we want to go at that time.
Hispanic does contribute though to scholarship funds also, they do some help.
Yes, yeah, there's a return, we calculate that, is where it is. And again, the hotel motel tax that we get is for the promotion of the city of Pearsall and put heads in beds and that kind of thing, and so it does do it, it's been
Yeah.
successful.
We also discussed not so long ago that, with this event, they were gonna be reaching out and meeting up with the hotel owners, motel owners to promote it even stronger this year, this final year with that budget proposal. So, we need to make sure that that's happening, because I know that, Mr. Patel has been one of them that has been waiting on that, was eager to do that, so I think that will even boost a little, even stronger during this, Hispanic Heritage Festival.
And that's something that I'm already doing and working, trying to get going with some of the hotel owners already, trying to get them more business, working with the chamber. That's something that I've already reached out to.
Council, do you have any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Juanita.
No, and my apologies for not being more prepared, but if you have any other questions?
Well, this is preliminary, but we do want Dr. Sanchez
Oh,
to come.
I'll read this for a little clarification.
Okay. Very good. Next, we have the Playbusters, Mr. Bieber.
Yes, just to make clear, council, what the request that we normally fund out of, these events is on page 4. If you look at page 4, it's 101 through, my glasses on. 101 through 42. So you can see the increase from $100,000 to $175,000. So I just wanna make sure that that's where you know where the dollars are coming from, that's where it's at. So it's-
Mr. Beaver?
Good evening, my name is Adam Beaver, I'm a club volunteer with the Frio County 4-H Claybusters. I was a little derelict in getting my invitation, I apologize for not having something presented to you guys to follow. Just a quick history lesson, we're one of the countywide 4-H clubs, and our club is about competitive shotgunning, so our youth competing competitions. And that is our fundraiser, is we host an event annually, and that's how we generate revenue for our club. And to attract people to come in from other counties and cities, we prize out scholarships to the youth. I wish I could say that all of our kiddos win, but that's not the case. There's some very competitive shooters out there, and we prize out a significant amount of money. And since 2017, we have requested, and y'all have graciously contributed to our cause 5 times, and most recently in 2022. 2023, we were not able to have our event. Where our event is normally held in our practice grounds is a solar plant up north of town. And so we were forced to move to the other side of that ranch, and to reestablish our shooting range, and it's all done by volunteer work, and so there's been a little bit of a delay. So we didn't have an event in 2023. We just had ours in 2024, but the scheduling was a little questionable, and we didn't think we could pull off a 2-day event, and so that's why we didn't approach you prior to that. But I think we're back on track, and so essentially we want to pick up kind of where we left off in 2022. We anticipate having our fundraiser in either April or May of next year. Date to be determined. There's a lot of variables that have to be reconciled. But as picking up where we left off, attendance-wise, and what the city of Pearsall has normally contributed to is the purchase of our targets, not the overall budget, but the actual targets that are used in our event, and that varies volume-wise. But one thing that hasn't varied is the price increase that those things have gone up, and so I was looking at it earlier, and I had to swallow hard. But whereas the last go around, y'all contributed $5,742 for targets based upon the number of individuals that attended that event, but what their current target prices are, rounded up for some delivery, maybe a few parts for our machines. Come next March, I'll be standing in front of you requesting $6,500 to contribute towards our event, and again, it'll be held in April or May, and then the post-event report will be turned in. But we're familiar with the process that we requested after the fact, so that's nothing new to us. And unlike our numbers attendance-wise and how many compete, we're unlike a lot of other events. We're a little bit unique, and I guess fortunate is we literally have one gate that everybody has to come in, and when they sign a waiver, we have uninvited attention, so we have some pretty exacting figures about how many attend, and then on the backside of our waiver, we have a questionnaire about where they've stayed, and they're very candid about which hotel they stayed in, where they ate, so forth and so on, and you pick a number, or that some of them prefer to round trip from home, and some of them might stay 2 nights, but typically we always invade Garcia's on the Saturday night and have a good time, and so you'll get to see me again. Hopefully it'll be a lot more organized, and do you all have any questions?
The participants, are they pretty much kiddos within our community, PIC, or?
No, we have some kiddos from our community that are members of the club, and the volunteers are from our club. But no, we attract a lot of people from out of town. There's a lot of them that come from, and it's kind of it's a deal where one county, you get on kind of a rotation, I should say, or maybe an orbit. But we get a lot of them from Bandera County and Oasis County, and we get some from Andrews County. So it actually draws in a lot of individuals from some great distances, and we have, most of the time, our members win scholarships. They're that good, but we to try to get a bigger influx of people in the Pearsall, we prize out a lot of scholarships, and that's the incentive there. It used to be plaques and trophies and so forth, but now scholarships are, that brings in a lot more competition.
How many attendees, give or take, you have?
Overall attendees, I want to say it's pretty safe to say 180. And the way it works is it's a software-driven program that computes the scores. We don't do it by hand. You data entry, but then there's software that tells who won and so forth and prizes it out. Well, that stuff is archived, so I can go back a good many years to find out the actual number of participants that competed, but then that may be a youth and his whole family, or her whole family came. And so you just take that number and add a few more, but at the same time, that's measured against our waivers, because everybody has to sign a waiver. So I take those waivers, and I count them and scan them in, just because, in case there's any question after the fact. But 180 is a pretty stable number on attendees.
And the